Well, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. School is out. I'm back finally at last in my own domain, and it's time for me to do something that I've been trying to do for quite some time. A little Q&A video, if you will. Whereas I take a few questions that you guys have listed in the comments below, and I will answer them for the sake of you all. Yes, this video has been a long time coming, and it has been delayed just a little bit, and I haven't been uploading a whole lot of videos as of late. But seriously, once you're being barraged by essays, final assignments, and homework that can possibly determine the future of your education and future job occupation, you gotta delay some videos sometimes. But do not worry, you all. I will be posting more reviews as time goes on. For next week, since we're keeping this animated movie streak going, I'm deciding to review Scoop for you all. A movie that is based on one of my favorite childhood shows growing up. So be on the lookout for that upcoming review. And by the way, before we get started, I'm gonna say thank you all for commenting down your questions below. It truly means a lot to me, and I couldn't have done this video without you guys. In fact, if you want to keep on asking questions, comment down in this video below. Comment down in a review. Comment down any other content that I have. Comment below your questions anytime, anywhere. So that way, hopefully, you will be rewarded by the next episode. So with that being said, it's time for a new series that I've been wanting to do for quite some time. And you guys know what the heck that means. It means it's time to put the gloves back on. My name is Luke Nukem, and this is my very first Q&A series known as Letters to Luke Nukem. Doom Studios asks, one best experience in your life? You know, the thing is, it's really hard for me to nail on the head which one is my most definitive experience of my life. I mean, I can basically talk about the movie theater experiences I've had, or even some of the film press screenings that I've had in my life. But the one true experience that really highlights it all for me is the time in, I think it's December 20-something or 17th. It's along in the middle of December, during that time when winter break was about to start. My parents surprised me. They took me out of school to go see a Baltimore Ravens game between the Ravens and the Houston Texans, because I am a diehard Ravens fan. I have loved the Ravens ever since 2005. And I was skeptical. I was nervous at first because I was like, oh god, I don't want to see them lose. What if I see this game, my very first Ravens game, and they were going to lose? But what made the experience so much better is that my mom had a friend who gave us on-field passes to go see the players practice and to go on the sidelines and basically see the players on the benches and even see, like, the Monday night newscasters basically talking about the game that was about to happen. So I found that pretty interesting. I got autographs from Todd Heap. I got autographs from Hall of Fame quarterback Steve Young, which was freaking awesome. But I think the one that really encapsulated it the most, or really epitomized it, is that time when the Ravens are walking out of the field and the running back Ray Rice spotting someone in the crowd, and he was pointing at someone in the crowd, and that person he was pointing to was at me, and he tossed me a game ball, and I was basically like in a loss for words. I'm like, what the heck just happened? But what made the birthday so much better is that it was an incredible game, but the Ravens won in an overtime win thanks to Josh Wilson's interception return, pick six, 34-28, Baltimore Ravens won. So out of anything that I have ever had to witness in my entire life, that would probably be the best experience of my life. 2. What made you do YouTube? In terms of what made me do YouTube, whether it has to be like inspirations, whether it have to be like certain movie characters, family members, or even reviewers on YouTube, whether it have to be Corey Coleman, which without question is the reason why I choose to do movie reviews and express it to all on YouTube. But I think what really made me want to do YouTube in the first place is because I always wanted my voice to be heard, and I always wanted to have an audience. I always wanted people to see me for who I am, because I have been the shyest person, and you can see me like as a very expressive, heck yeah sort of person, raising the devil horns, just blowing fire all over the place, when in reality, I am very shy, reserved, introverted, and don't really have a huge amount of friends to be around. But the thing is about what made me do YouTube is that I always wanted people to see my voice, see my opinions, just what I thought about a certain film, whether it be good, whether it be bad, and hopefully that entertains them, or maybe get a good laugh out of them, and maybe they can get like a good comment in there. Yeah, the reason why I decided to do YouTube, aside from like a few inspirations, is because I've always wanted my voice to be heard. I've always wanted to have an audience, and I always wanted to make everyone happy, so there that is. Owen Buckner asks 6 questions, so I'll go by through them quickly.
Number 1, least anticipated upcoming movies.
Well, since Venom 2 is getting delayed until next year, I would have to say Monster Hunter. Followed by The New Mutants if that movie ever gets released. Also Clifford the Big Red Dog, which is being directed by the guys who are responsible for Norbit and Wild Hogs and Old Dogs. I don't have anything else to say about that at all whatsoever.
2, how would you rank the Halo games?
Now, here's a little thing that you do not know about me. I love the Halo games. They're my favorite first-person shooter games of all time and my favorite video game series, period. I love everything that happens in the story. It has amazing characters, Master Chief, Cortana, Sergeant Johnson, Arbiter, voiced by Keith David. Heck yes! And they practically have some of the best storytelling you can ever see in a first-person shooter. So if I would have to rank all the Halo games, it would basically have to be all of the first-person shooters, because those are basically the ones that I have only played. So starting at the bottom, we have Halo 5, which, thanks to Brian Reed, has destroyed everything that was good or set it up from in Halo 4 and in Halo 4 Spartan Ops, which totally makes that mode irrelevant, and just making Cortana like a sentient, evil villain who's trying to conspire all the AIs to go against their creators, which is humanity. I'm like, why, Brian Reed? Why? Next one, Halo 3 ODST. Yes, it is basically extended DLC of Halo 3, and it should have been DLC of Halo 3. But on its own terms, it does deliver on a fairly decent story with the introduction of the firefight mode. And after that, it would be Halo Combat Evolved. It was the very first Halo game ever made. And followed by that, it would have to be the most emotional game of the Halo saga. That would be Halo 4. And right after that, we got the best 3 games out of the entire franchise, that being Halo 2, Halo Reach, and Halo 3. Halo Reach and Halo 3 can basically interchange for the best Halo game in the entire franchise. So if I would have to say the best ones, Halo 2, Halo 3, Halo Reach.
3, if you could wipe any movie from your memory, what would it be?
Any movie that I would classify as being forgettable. Look, at least with some of the bad movies you watch, like say Sucker Punch or Inappropriate Comedy, at least you can tell others what you had to go through and what your experience was like just as you get through that torturous film. With forgettable movies like say Jack Reacher 2 Never Go Back, how are you going to remember that? It's like a plot that has to do with like taking care of like a teenage girl that's avoiding getting hunted by an assassin. Like I said, that movie is forgettable. Even I have a hard time. I don't even know if I got the plot right or even a certain scenario of that movie right. So yeah, anything that I would think as forgettable, like a movie like that, right out of my head.
4, what's a movie you refuse to watch?
Anything that's kind of exploitated and filled with shock value, like say the Human Centipede movies, an Eli Roth torture porn movie, or just something like Cannibal Ferox. I mean, I haven't seen a Serbian film, I haven't seen Sallow, I haven't seen Cannibal Holocaust or Necromantic. I haven't seen any of those movies yet, but yeah, those would be the kind of movies that I would refuse to watch. Okay, I'll try to watch Cannibal Holocaust, but that is it. That is it.
5, best and worst scene of any movie.
Alright, Sucker Punch. Best scene, the credits. Worst scene, everything else.
6, if you can only live with 3 movies and 3 video games for the rest of your life, what would it be? God.
Okay, now for this question, I'm gonna cheat a little bit. So, for the first movie, in terms of movies, the first one I'm gonna say is Rise, Dawn, and War, because if you think about it, they're all one continuous story. Think about it. For the second one, I would have to say A Monster Calls, and for the third movie, it would have to be like an animated film. I'm gonna have to say like either 9, Hunchback, or Frozen. Just any of those 3 would work perfectly for me. As far as video games, number 1 would also have to be all one story. It would have to be like Halo 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're excluding 5. For the next one, it'd have to be Pokemon Fire Red, which is my very first handheld and my very first Pokemon game that I love the heck out of. It's one of my favorite games of all time. Now for the third video game, any Smash Brothers game basically, but it can go either or with any video game. I mean, Smash Brothers Brawl is my personal favorite. Yes, it's the game that everyone hates on for some reason because there's like tripping, and yes, I will agree that the netcode for the online play does lag and it does occasionally break down a couple of times, but overall it's like one of my favorite playing experiences that I've had, more so than Melee basically. But yeah, those will have to be the movies and the video games that I would have to live with for the rest of my life. Justin Williams asks,
what was the best movie rant you've ever done?
I'll be honest, I really don't have a best movie rant that I've ever done. I mean, I'm not the kind of guy that says, like, you know, all of my rants and all the videos I've done, they're perfect, they're awesome, because in all honesty, not every video that I've made is deemed perfect, or every rant that I've done I would have to describe as like the best movie review rant I've ever done. I mean, sure, I've had like the 50 Shades of Grey rant, which was basically uncut, but I don't really like that video that much. In fact, it's kind of like, you know, unprofessional. The camera was like pointed above my eyes and it was just not a good look at all. It was actually like my first time of doing an uncut rant or something, and it didn't really go out too well. There is the Justice League rant, which got me to 36,000 subscribers, but that video has faults in the fact that not only was the camera like shaking every now and then, or just like changing positions because I was using a phone at a time instead of a video camera, it just kept on falling and falling, and I would have to stop recording and just position it in a different fashion. Also, I was quoting Mark Kermode and Movie Bob, which didn't help things matters either because I took some of the quotes and just used them into different contexts or jokes. I don't really have a perfect one, but that's kind of for you to decide, I'm afraid.
Super Mario Fan 03 asks, how would you have fixed Batman v Superman? Don't say make it not exist at all. Oh, ho, ho, ho.
If there was one honest-to-God change that I would do for Batman v Superman, I would basically have to make Batman v Superman, like after like a series of movies, first of all having to reboot Man of Steel, have like 2 Man of Steel movies with like someone other than Zack Snyder to be the director, someone like George Miller to probably give Superman the ability to become the true symbol of hope, justice in the American way, or truth, justice in the American way, that is. So after like 2 Man of Steel movies, I would have a Batman movie, so that way, like Batman and Superman, they would meet up together, they would form like this somewhat of initiative from the very beginning. Then we would introduce characters like Wonder Woman, Green Lantern without Ryan Reynolds, Aquaman, The Flash. We would introduce more characters along the way. We would get the first Justice League movie after that. I would further expand upon the characters, go through different ideologies that transpire. And then once we finally get our Batman v Superman movie, have it not be rushed, have their ideologies being challenged, and make it be like something out of the Dark Knight Returns or Injustice 2, where we both like these characters. And yes, it's gonna sound like a civil war, but trust me, it's much more better than what Zack Snyder pitched out on screen. That would be my proper fix for Batman v Superman, or make it not exist at all.
Sir Ty Jensen asks, 1. Are you introverted or extroverted? 2. Star Wars or Star Trek? 3. Are you excited for Dune? 4. What's your favorite streaming service? Crocky, dude!
Introverted, Star Wars, yes, Amazon.
LC Muscles 28 asks,
what's a movie you can watch for 24 hours straight? If you did, you win a ton of money. If you don't, something bad would happen. LOL!
Well, rather than picking a movie that is like exactly 24 hours straight, I'm gonna have to go with, say, a movie that is more bang for my buck. Let's say the extended edition cut of Lord of the Rings Return of the King. It is over 4 hours of content, and I love Return of the King. It's utterly fantastic, and as a matter of fact, if you watch it for like 7 or like over 7 hours, you practically watch it for 24 hours and you get the more entertainment value out of it. So practically, that's what I would have to watch for 24 hours straight. And even if I don't win it, hey, I've had worse.
Jerome Latimer asks, Sophie's Choice, Caesar or Elsa?
This is tough. This is probably the hardest question out of this entire Q&A series, or Q&A episode, but in all honesty, when all is said and done, I have to lay down the law and state the facts. I'm gonna have to go with Julius Caesar. I mean, the guy played such a significant role in the rise of the Roman Empire, and he's a military general. He is an awesome man. I mean, it was unfortunate he was assassinated, but still, he was terrific, and I mean, no harm in done, and no offense to Elsa Patanki. I mean, she's at least married to the god of war himself, Chris Hemsworth, so there's that going for her. But yes, you heard it right. I'm gonna have to go with Julius Caesar. This one. It's not like I have to choose between a wise, hardened CGI-ape general and a sympathetic ice queen, because who the heck would do that, right?
When a piece of cheese gets its picture taken, what does it say?
Make sure you get my Gouda side.
Why did kamikaze pilots wear helmets?
Well, that's because they didn't wear helmets. They actually wore leather caps that are quite similar to how Amelia Earhart would use them, and they would use these sort of leather caps just to prevent them from getting cold because of the altitude or going deaf whenever they're flying in the cockpit. So, good trick question, by the way.
Isn't it ironic that psychics have to ask for your name?
I know, right?
Is there a martial art you would love to take?
I'm gonna have to say Kali or Eskrima, basically Filipino martial arts. And, if anything, I would also like to try whatever Iko Uwais was doing in the Raid or the Raid 2 movies. So, that's practically my martial art of choice.
A professional wrestler you'd like to see a movie get made by him/her.
So, a movie that stars a professional wrestler, or a movie that was made by the professional wrestler? Because, if I'm being perfectly honest, if it was a movie that I wish would star the professional wrestler, aside from The Rock and John Cena, I guess CM Punk would probably work. Dolph Ziggler will also be a nice addition. He could probably be, in the proper Point Break movie where he can actually be the perfect portrayal of a Patrick Swayze-esque Brody. So, that could probably work for him. But, as in terms of, wrestlers who I want to make the film, none! Wow, that is a lot of questions. So, I'll probably, hopefully, go by this really quickly. PS7 Endgame and SpongeBob FTW P-Star 007 FTL asks, that is also a long nickname.
1. Do you believe in Satan or God? I feel like you believe in the devil due to your background.
Well, I'm gonna have to say looks can be deceiving to you because aside from the entire costume and the fiery domain that I have currently, in actuality, I do believe in God, and by God I do not mean a CGI ape. I mean the fact that I am a Christian, and this entire costume is just something that I'm currently working on. It's in the beginning of the stages of my character, Luke Nukem himself. And my character myself is basically inspired by multiple characters within pop culture, whether it's like movies or video games, how I use my powers, what's my backstory. I'm currently working on mythology at this point. Not going to reveal it to you all currently, but at this point, this is just a costume. I'm working on the mythology, but in all seriousness, praise be to God.
2. Are you planning on uploading your Facebook stream of your best and worst movies of 2018 anytime soon? Or just show us the movies of both lists?
To be perfectly honest, I don't think I'm planning on uploading that Facebook stream because not only is the quality of the video bad and I've just been basically unprofessional and it's not in my perfect getup as I normally would have in my apartment. The reason why I decided to do a Facebook stream is that, if for those of you who are new on the channel, the file of both of my best movies and my worst movies of 2018 video crashed because my computer had a corrupted and very bad battery, and it would just be turning off, even if it was at 95%, it would just shut off and I would just have to turn it back on again, and it just wasn't working for me. So I would have to wait hours upon hours just to get my computer running. But yeah, I don't think I'm really gonna get my best worst lists anytime soon, but I basically have presented both movie titles both on the stream, and I've listed it all on my Facebook page and I think on my Twitter page.
3. Do you wish the DCEU would die? Not a fanboy, just doing it for funsies.
I just hope the DCEU would make wise choices and great movies, because aside from Joker, Shazam, and hopefully the upcoming Batman movie, there isn't really anything in the DC Cinematic Universe that is even worth recommending to everybody. And even their best movie in the form of Wonder Woman is not even that great of a film. In fact, it's actually the most overrated DCE film of the entire franchise. But, yeah, I just hope that they make good decisions and hopefully deliver next time.
4. Have you tried to fly with your powers?
You know what? I've been trying to do it as of lately. I'm still training on it. I mean, the flying mechanics haven't been working out properly, but I'm still training. I'm still trying to get a little bit better at it. I mean, I'm not going to gain the powers automatically like Rey from The Last Jedi or The Rise of Skywalker, but I'm still training. I'm still trying to get used to my powers because, hey, if Fire Lord Ozai can fly from the last Airbender series, then I'm definitely going to fly, but it just takes a lot of training. We'll just have to wait and see.
5. Who is your favorite cartoon reviewer / critic? Egg Mr. Enter, Phantom Strider, Shaper Spark, Etika.
I don't really have a favorite cartoon reviewer / critic. You know, I don't really pay attention to a whole lot of critics that basically analyze cartoons anyway. But if I have to pick just one, he's not really my favorite, but one that I would have to say I would watch every now and then or rarely, it would have to be Animat. Whenever I'm just like ever in a mood just to watch some of his content, whenever he's reviewing a movie like, you know, The Hunchback of Notre Dame, or Where the Dead Go to Die, or just whenever he's ranting on like a Sony animated pictures movie, those are always the good ones. But to be perfectly honest, I really don't have one. I mean, I don't pay attention to Scrapless Productions or anyone along that caliber, but yeah, I think Animat's probably the closest one, so make that what you will.
6. Best and worst movie of 2020?
Well, I'm sorry I hate to say this, but that's classified.
7. Can you insult us all? Chaos Control!
To be fair, I'm not really the best guy when it comes to insulting people. I mean, occasionally I would throw in like a quippy or a snarky remark or like an insult just to keep like some of my friends, you know, laughing every now and then whenever I'm doing like a live stream on like someone else's channel. But if I would have to say anything to all you guys, I would have to say, pick better questions, you young freaking amateurs. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. But anyway, I think that is all the time I have left for this Q&A episode. So it's all been fun. Thank you so much for posting your questions in the comments below, and be sure to post more just in case you want to get the next episode going. So if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe for more. Thank you for watching, and until next time, my name is Luke Nukem, and you, my friends, have been blown away.